Perfect. Good afternoon, reInvent. I want to start by letting you guys in on a little secret. Many of the fastest moving companies and engineering teams in the world don't use GitHub for code review anymore. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that they've realized that this new era of agentic software development requires a whole new platform for code review that can keep up with the pace at which software can now be written. And that's exactly what we've built at Graphite. We are building the AI-powered code review platform for this new age of agentic software development. Let's take a quick look at Graphite before we dive in. We are privileged to work with some of the fastest and largest engineering teams in the world, teams like Shopify, Snowflake, Robinhood, Duolingo. And it's not just a matter of hype, we've delivered real enterprise value for them. Shopify, for instance, after using Graphite, has seen 33% more PRs merged per developer after adopting Graphite. Asana has shipped 21% more lines of code per engineer, and we've done this time and time again with hundreds of thousands of engineers across the industry. So before we get into how we do this exactly, I want to talk about why code review is important right now and why you can't just do this with any AI model. So starting with the first one, why should we even care about code review? Isn't it enough? Can't we just let the AI run with this and write all of our code for us today? And I think that the answer to this, if we think about it, is that writing code. First of all, how many of you guys are engineers? Raise your hand if you're an engineer. Okay, pretty much everybody here. So you guys all know that writing code is only the first part of the story. Once we've written the code, we'll build it locally, we'll debug. But after that happens, we still have to go through the entire outer loop process of getting our code reviewed, testing it, getting it merged, deploying it. And oftentimes at enterprise scale, this is actually more of the bottleneck than writing it in the first place. Even before this age of AI, my co-founders and I all came from large companies like Meta and Google, where we'd often spend more time waiting for our coworkers to give us code reviews than we would actually building the feature in the first place. So code review's always been a bottleneck at enterprises, and this has always been important. But now AI is making this 10 times worse because every engineer has these incredible tools like Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf that they're able to use to build features faster than ever. But again, this is just shifting this bottleneck over to the right here. Like all of that code still needs to be reviewed, it still needs to be tested, merged, and deployed. And now what we're finding and hearing from many of our largest customers is that their engineers are just drowning in PRs. They can't find enough time in the day to review the PRs that their teams can now create. I thought that this tweet really summarized it well. The new bottleneck is no longer doing the work, it's reviewing the work. So this was our conclusion number one. In this new age of AI code gen needs AI code review if we're going to truly unlock the power of LLMs for generating code. Put another way, you can't just apply AI to the IDE. You kind of need to apply it to your entire tool chain if you want to really get the most out of what LLMs can do for software development. So that answers the first question, but now you're probably thinking, why can't we just rely on the base LLMs? Like, isn't Claude Code and GPT-5 good enough on their own to be a reviewer? Like, can't we just hack something together, throw it in a GitHub action, and let it run? Well, this was actually the first thing that we did when we tried to build this. So in the beginning, we started before AI was really powerful. We were just building a workflow tool, and the first approach that we had to this when we were experimenting was, let's just take the code diff and give it to Claude and see what happens. So we tried that. And these are some of the common responses we'd get. Things like, you should update the code to just do what it's doing already. CSS doesn't work this way. You should add a comment here. This is a really common one. Or even you should just revert this code to do exactly what it used to do. It's kind of like you just dropped an intern into your code base in their first week on the job and expected them to do complicated refactors. So this was the second major realization that we had, was that LLMs are trained in RL to generate code in seconds, but reviewing and understanding of code is a much harder problem that needs a lot of specialized engineering. It's an instance of what's called the generator-validator gap in LLM research, where LLMs are fantastic at generating valid examples of something, but they're much worse at understanding and validating why something is valid. Like they can't exactly introspect and tell you, why is this correct? Like why is this matching the pattern that we want it to? So that was the second major realization, and that really brings us to this third point and the most interesting question. How is Graphite achieving this? Like, how are we helping enterprises ship code faster in this new era of AI? And it's a multi-pronged approach. It's not enough just to drop in an agent that reviews code. You really need the whole platform for code review and reimagining the pull request experience completely end to end. And that's exactly what we've done. So first of all, we have an AI review agent that scans every pull request in a few seconds. It's able to find bugs, security vulnerabilities, any of the common issues that a developer would be looking for in a code review, but instead of waiting potentially hours overnight for a coworker to give you a review, this will give you the review in a few seconds. So you save hours of back and forth. What would have been like many review cycles now can be condensed down into one. We've combined that, though, with a best-in-class code review experience. So we have an inbox that unifies your workflow and shows you exactly what PRs are waiting on your review, where your changes are in progress. It's amazing that in 10 years, GitHub has not built a way to just organize your workflow and see what you need to do. That's the first thing you see when you log into Graphite. We also bring you smarter self-healing CI. So Graphite Agent will suggest if a test is failing. It'll suggest a fix and let you just rerun it, requeue it, and get that unblocked. We're about to introduce merge conflict resolution as well. So if something is failing in merge, Graphite Agent will fix it for you, get your quick sign-off, and be ready to keep going. We let you measure developer productivity, and we bring it all together in a small developer platform. This is a quick view of what the new PR page looks like. Let me see if I can get this to play. So we basically you have your PR, but you have a whole chat window right alongside it. So in Graphite, I can ask it questions, I can understand this change, I can have it highlight a few issues, and then I can actually give it an instruction and work with it. So in this case, I'm asking Graphite Agent to swap out the model. It's going to actually make that change in line, propose a code change. I can open up a whole editor and view the diff that it's generated, and then with one click, I can go ahead and apply that change. This previously would have taken you minutes or potentially hours to go back to your IDE, make this change, pull the changes in, make the change, push it back up, get a review again. Now this is all just happening in a matter of seconds on Graphite's new PR page. So much like what Cursor did to VS Code and bringing AI right into the IDE, we're doing that with pull requests with Graphite, bringing an agent in real time that you can collaborate with right into the PR page. So Graphite Agent, it's not just a matter of being there and working with you. We can really validate the results of this and looking at the rate at which its comments are accepted. So less than 4% of Graphite Agent's comments are downvoted or marked as not accurate, and 55% of comments actually then lead to an underlying code change. This is always how we're measuring and validating that every change we make to Graphite Agent or every change Graphite Agent suggests is a good one and that you want it to actually lead to that code being changed. For comparison, humans are about 49% here. So we've actually now exceeded, Graphite Agent is now better than the vast majority of human code reviewers in terms of the percentage of their comments that actually create code changes in the end.
We have compliance frameworks that are available within the ultimate version that'll.
So going back to enterprise impact and talking about this, Shopify has been one of our larger customers and one that's really worked with us and pushed us to help their engineering team move as quickly as possible. You can imagine in the past month or two, they were in their full sprint getting ready for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's a huge code push for them. They're doing tens of thousands of PRs and lead up to this. And with Graphite, we saw real results in terms of developer efficiency. So 33% more PRs shipped per engineer. We're now up to almost 3/4 of all PRs at Shopify are now being merged through Graphite instead of GitHub. Again, hundreds of thousands of PRs that this has covered, and if you want to really dig into what is the enterprise impact of this, we get to hundreds of additional engineers worth of developer time saved. You can imagine every single PR, even if you're saving an hour or two off of review time, off of time that they would have been blocked waiting for somebody to unblock them. That's a huge amount of time over an entire year and a huge amount of engineering hours that you're now giving back to the team and letting them spend less time in review and more time doing what matters and actually being able to build.
To having it actually
we're zooming out. We're really excited and we're proud to partner with some of the leading companies in the industry. So Robinhood. We talked about Shopify, but Robinhood, Snowflake, teams like Ramp, some of the AI native companies like Harvey and Replit and Vercel. Really seeing across the industry like large adoption of this and excitement around what AI can do. Again, not just in the IDE, but in the outer loop as a whole. Back to Graphite at a glance, what we've built is a best-in-class code review platform on top of GitHub. We're trusted by some of the very best developers and teams in the industry, and we're really bringing AI to the pull request process and transforming what code review looks like now in this new era of software development. So, a few key takeaways that I want to leave you with. Number one, LLMs are really flooding enterprise engineering teams with more code than they can safely review. We now have, not only is there more code being generated than ever, we see about 70% more code per engineer now than we saw back in 2023. It's just a huge amount of more changes that are being created with the help of LLMs now. So there's more code. It's also less, potentially less valid, less safe code than ever before because, let's be real, is every single engineer scanning every line that's being generated? Probably not. They're in a rush, they're putting code up. We almost need, not only just to handle the volume of code, but the nature of AI-generated code, necessitates us to have better tooling around making sure that it's reviewed, making sure that it's safe, and making sure that it's validated. So there's more code than ever before. We need AI code review more than ever. Traditional tools and LLMs, we can't just take Claude Code or GPT-5 and throw it at this and expect it to do well. We really need a whole new platform for code review for this new era. And that's exactly what we've delivered. Graphite has built that platform. We've integrated AI into the entire pull request lifecycle from the moment it's created to the moment that it's merged. And we're delivering really great measurable enterprise outcomes by doing that. Thank you guys very much. That's all I've got for you. You can find us. We're on graphite.com if you want to check it out. You can try the platform out for free for 30 days. And we're right around the corner over at booth 535 if you want to come check us out. We got plenty of people who can tell you more about the platform and the details, and we're excited to chat with you. So thank you very much, everyone.